welcome to Grace and Lottie's. Elizabeth here. We are back in Lake today for this Tech Tuesday, and we're going to be working with a different brush, and I've got one here that I did quickly, but I'm going to erase it. Hold on, let me see. There is a way to erase it. We'll save to gallery and start new, so that I can show you guys this tool right here. It's this paintbrush that's down on the bottom. I kind of think of it as acrylic paint. Doing it. It could possibly be oil. Oh, wrong button. I was trying to pull up the palette that they have here. There we are. So what this does is this lays down a much more opaque color than what we were looking at last week with the watercolor tool. We're still going to be using a little bit of the watercolor tool today, but not a lot. I like to use it to soften when I'm done. But this one, we're going to get to do some interesting little variations on what we did last week. So I'm going to real quickly just ink in a background. Ooh, I didn't. Oh, I had it on that. So let's undo that. Forgot that I had it turned off there real quick when I hit the button. So there we go. Now we've got a little bit of a background started for us. So we're going to do one of these roses first. And since I'm going to be doing this with the red, I can honestly go in with the ink tool and just ink all of these. So real quickly, gonna go boom, 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 boom. So let's make sure I'm all the way to the edge. I'm all the way to the edge. Now, first step that I like to do is I like to do the highlight first. Now there's two shades here that we could pick to do the highlight. You could do it with the orange, and it will create a good highlight. I'm gonna use the pink. It's gonna be a little bit stronger. Now we're gonna pick this brush. And we've got our size choices. I'm gonna go with a medium first. Let's see real quick if that's what I want. That's a little bit thicker than I wanted, so let's undo. We can go a little thinner right there. That looks good, and we're just gonna outline the outer edge of these petals. Now with this style, you don't have to be perfect on the edge. It actually looks a little bit better if you're not so perfect. It keeps it from looking like it was done by a machine. I'm just going to outline all of these. Takes a minute to do, but I'm just doing this outer edge where the sun would kind of catch it. I'm going in right there. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't hiding underneath my brush tool there. Let's go ahead and close it. There we go. Now it's out of the way. Now you see the difference right here versus the watercolor brush is that if I lift mine and come back, I'm not creating what looks like to be a second layer. It is, okay, I say it's not, it is doing it very subtly. You're not going to notice the difference. See, when I zoom in, I can see it. So it's not a big of a deal. I think it looks, again, a little bit more natural and more painterly if I do let those be there for this. This one does not, I mean, it layers the teeniest bit, but not nearly as much as the watercolor brush does. Almost done with this one. Okay, so now you see I've got those highlights in, and those create a really fun look. We've also got this darker shade here built into this palette. Now I'm going to come in, and I'm going to go and add in my shadows. So quickly there you see now how we have created simple dimension very quickly. Using that brush. Oop. Undo. zoom it in. And so very, very quickly, there is that. So let's look now over here. I'm going to, now I don't have a whole lot of color choices for her skin, so I'm going to go over and pick one out of the color wheel. Let's not be so dark here. I'm trying to find a good flesh tone. There's not a lot in here without getting too peachy. It's a little, this I think will work. And we'll just, woo, never mind. Sometimes when you see it small, it looks a little bit different when you get it over here. That'll work. It's not perfect, but for a little bit of a flesh tone, I think that'll be fine. So we'll go back over now to our palette. Let's say I want to give her just the teeniest bit of eyeshadow. That's where I will come in now and use my watercolor brush. Oh, I should have inked her eyes. Is that color still up? Yes, it is. Okay. Ink the eyelids real quick. I didn't think about the fact that they had the eyelashes here. There's a lot of little dotting in there. I'm gonna go ahead and do her cheeks too. We'll add blush into those in a minute, but giving those that little bit of a base tone underneath. So I'm gonna go in and we're gonna give her bright green eyeshadow. We're just gonna come in. I want a bigger brush for this. Just think about an eyeshadow brush. I forgot I need to take this off of that. Then I can come in and do a tighter eyeliner. Got off of my point. It's funny putting on makeup on a slick screen. So there we go, we got a little bit of makeup on her. I can give her slightly rosy cheeks with the same tool. We'll turn this back on. So, and that just put it on. I'm really surprised that came out as dark as it did. I didn't expect it to. So let's see her hair. We're gonna make her hair orange because that's the color we have here. I'm using the colors that are in it. So the base color there, that is some very orange hair. We could have probably made her blonde, but we'll stick with the orange. So I'm gonna use the same kind of burnt red color for my shadows versus the bright red. And I think it'll come in a little bit. Ooh, I forgot I was still on the big old brush. Bring that brush size down. So I'm just adding in a little bit of shadowing down here, some down here. And her hair. Now don't worry, I'm gonna show you guys how to soften this up just a little bit in a minute. Now make sure I'm at the edges. To add a little bit of highlight, I'm gonna use this kind of goldenrod-y color that's right there. Actually, I want that to be a much wider brush. We're gonna follow the little bits in here. Now, these look like a little kindergartner scribbled on them right now. So to bring them in a little bit, watch what we can do. We're gonna use that watercolor brush that we've got, and I can tone this down quite a bit. See? And we soften up. Still think they look like little worms. They're not my favorite. But it's the idea here, so you can see that you can go in and add in those. We can also vary our brush size with those if we came in a little bit smaller. got this curly hair going on. And we can add in a couple of darker pieces down here. And my strokes here are not great. This is fast. And now let's bring it back together. Let's see if this helps it some. Oh, I want a big brush. One other thing you can do with hair that I have done is you can go in with your eraser tool and also put in some highlights. And those are great because the eraser tool, if you remember, also has a size. And like right up here where I kind of gave her a little bit of a part, you kind of do the the sun is hitting right through there. Now I can come back in with that orange again with my, you can see now I can color it in a little bit more too. And that's a way also to add in some fun. That I'm using this tiny brush. Let's go back to a big brush. We can go whoosh and whoosh a lot faster. And as I layer this, you can see we're getting darker. Can also add in a little bit of yellow if I want on that. So see how we can play with this color and adjust it lots and lots of ways. You could keep playing with that on and on and on. I will spare you the hour or so that you can spend on this in doing it to get it to that perfect shade. What I'm gonna do, I've got my notifications on. Sorry about that. I'm just gonna ink her hair right back to orange. And look, now we're back to this nice, really solid kind of shade. I'm just gonna add in a couple of highlights and we'll leave it simple. The sun is back here. I'm going to do a little bit here around her crown. Ah, wrong side. And a little bit there, just to give it a little bit of dimension on it. And you can go back in and soften it. You can add a little bit more with the darker shades. And even, I mean, it does do the simplest little bit. Depending on the shade. I'm not really getting anything with the orange because it's already opaque in there. Well, see, I'll show you what the red does. See how bright the red is? That's why I picked the other one when I went in. I think the red just comes out and says, hello, a little more than I would like. Now she's going to have, we'll give her some pretty green eyes here really quickly. Shining out from underneath that bright red, bright pink lips. And she needs eyebrows, so we give her some eyebrows right there. I think that they're a little dark or a little bright, so I'm going to come over just with that little bit. So you see with the watercolor brush, I just darkened her eyebrows just a teeny bit. So I think that shows you doing that with the acrylic brush tool that's right there, just doing some simple highlighting and low lighting on this, some shadowing. I'm enjoying getting to experiment with this quite a bit. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you subscribe, please hit the bell so that you can get notifications for when I put up new videos. YouTube's kind of changed the way they're doing things a little bit. And just because you're subscribed doesn't mean you're going to know when new videos come up from your subscribed channels. They're giving you more recommended lists. So make sure you hit that bell icon so that you can get notifications when new videos are uploaded. And also, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I've been uploading there quite a bit, especially on Instagram, a little more than Twitter. And remember, too, that art happens in everyday life. Make sure you're watching for it.